Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Noodles, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Edwin.
Hi.
Sazwinda.
Hello.
And Black.
Hey, guys.
Hello, everyone. And let's have a look at what our news is today. It's pretty thin because all we have is the beacon for the game news. And on the top, we have a boat. Is that in the Long Lake or is that somewhere else?
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out myself.
Based on style of boat, I'm thinking Long Lake.
Very well. I would assume that they usually like to go from the most recent areas, so we'll assume that this is someone boating on the Long Lake.
I haven't actually been there yet.
Well, yes, there is that little detail. Then let's head into the community spotlight, where Second Breakfast is hosting a music festival on Sunday, April 1st on Crick Hollow, which means that if you're listening to this after the live event, you probably missed it. And the girls of Middle-earth ran through some Spring Festival quests. You all did the Spring Festival?
Yeah, I was actually really surprised that we got a mention.
Ooh.
But we got a mention. It was cool.
Yeah, very nice.
And the Hope will be presenting El Coronel no tiene quien le escriba. And that will be on the Landreville's server in Bree at the Prancing Posting Station at 1 p.m. on April 1st. I do not know whether they are presenting this in English or in Spanish. And please note that the beacon has it woefully misspelled, but it is spelled correctly on the link that you click on. And the Alliance of the First Age tanks Sankrok using a champion.
Very nice.
Terry, did you see that? I guess not. Okay. Then in the Kin Hall, the Blue Mountains Regiment is a dwarven role-playing kin on Laurelin. They have a website, a Discord server, and even a private Facebook group as well. There are more than just a kinship, but a family. Be you a farmer, warrior, trader, scholar, or even an adventurer, you'll all have a place among the ranks, regardless of your profession, as long as you have a beard. For more information, go to the link inside the beacon. That is the Blue Mountains Regiment, and that's on Laurelin. In our weekly comment, the question is, how many shrews have you stomped during this year's Spring Festival?
None.
0.
I think I've looked at it like 4 times.
I haven't even done the event at all this year.
Right. So we have Black, who's said he's ran it 4 times, so that means about 40 shrews then?
Yeah, I'm at 40, I guess.
All right. Sans, have you done any?
Nope. I coached my nephew on how to do it, but I did not.
You're coaching someone else to it. And no, I've been woefully absent at the Spring Festival this year, which I really should get onto it so that I could be able to get whatever cosmetics are available this time around.
Someone posted a great picture in the forum link when you go there to actually see what some of the responses are. It's got some shrews, and they look like they're terrifying there.
Then let's head into the fan site news. A new episode of LOTRO Players News is up. And yeah, Pine Leaf Noodle's not approved.
Great
Yep,
title.
that was our title last week.
Yep. So apparently the beacon agrees that I've not been approved. Eklanar travels to Bree, and this is episode 37, a tour of Bree. And Dodeswelt quest through Book 5, Volume 2 in a German-speaking stream that he holds for a Hobbit hunter. He's at episode 151. And then in Vanya Lancirio, who continues Vanya Cuenta Calaquende, and click there to watch Chapter 83, Triumph Within the Deeps. And Zagog looks to quest in the Westfold, and you can click on there to watch episode 396 in Trouble Outside of Aldburg. And the screenshot of the week looks like a little bit of a double horse.
Goat.
Oh, that's a goat? Oh, you are right. That is a goat.
That's the new goat.
2 goats.
Yeah, it's the 2 new goats. Yep.
That's the goat that we're not getting yet.
Right.
Yeah, one is from the puzzle and one is from the deed, right?
I don't know.
I don't know, actually.
I haven't
Yeah.
actually left Aaron Laskellin yet, so.
Yeah, we are getting ready to, if I remember correctly, but no, we haven't gotten quite finished on that yet. So therefore, oh, you had
Still
something to say, Black?
close. And still
I was going
close.
to say, I believe one is for completing all the deeds, and then the other one, of course, is the new puzzle deed that came out with the last update.
Yes. Well, right now we haven't even run into the puzzle yet, much less solved it.
Yeah, me neither.
But as for completing all of the deeds, I'm trying to think of any recent zone where I have managed to complete that feat. Then let's head into our store sales this weekend. Terry, what's on sale? Is it anything that's going to be nice to adventure with?
Yeah, actually. But the free sample this week is a blue dye, and not just any blue dye, the evened in blue dye. One of my favorite colors. Coupon code is blue dye, BLUEDYE, now through April 5th, and 25% off quest packs, 100% XP boosts, Mithra coins, and Max Morale and Power Scrolls. Quest packs are on sale, Mithra coins are on sale. Everything else pretty much drops from Hobbit Presents, but now's the time to stock up on Mithra coins. We don't get Mithra.
Yay, Mithril!
Yeah, we don't get Mithra coin sales very often, so I'm always really excited when we have them. And then I never have enough LOTRO points to actually stock up.
Apparently, Gollum spelled Power Scrolls. It's an extra S.
Sneaky Gollum.
Yeah. But we have a Gollum that says Power Scrolls is. Yeah. So therefore, let's head into our site news, and we'll be presenting the Norbog News number 3, personal and job pages.
Yes. Personal ads and job ads. And they're really funny.
All those little things that all the silly little things that actually managed to come out and happen all throughout the area. A lot of them seem to be happening down in the Northern Kingdom. Things are rather busy up there lately.
Well, a lot of people are up there.
Yeah.
Oh, lag.
I can relate to the mistrustful dwarf part. having just done that earlier today, so or trying to anyway.
Running into dwarves all over the place. I'm not too sure I've run into mistrustful dwarves yet, though. But I suppose that will happen soon enough. So let's head into our new player question. And Black, I think you are playing the role of Green this week?
Yes, that would be me. I am the green player. Is there anything that you can do to fast forward through in LOTRO? I guess if there is, what can you fast forward through, and how do you do that?
I guess
suppose
it
my
depends on your definition of fast forwarding through something.
Yeah.
I suppose maybe such as like a deed. Maybe how would you get through a deed faster?
Well, the question actually came up in the field trip last night, and the context was waiting for a load-in screen, and apparently there are 2 screens in the load-in process that you can actually escape through, kind of like you can the movies. And one of the guys was like, throw that in as a new player question. So
Yeah, those are the first two screens that you come up with when you are loading.
and I had no idea you could escape through those. I always just sat there and watched them and waited for them to go away.
I knew one was the Standing Stone logo. What's the other one?
The one right after that.
Yeah, you have to do two of them.
Oh, okay.
The sad thing is I try to do it with every other game I play, and they don't always do that.
Yeah,
And the loud... Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The loud movies. If they're breaking your eardrums or if you've seen them a gazillion times, you can get
Oh,
through.
yeah. Because loud movies are loud.
Really, really loud.
Yeah. Actually, that could use some fixing. Pretty please, Standing Stone Games.
get the movies to a consistent level with everything else.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because the newest one we noticed wasn't eardrum breaking.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was the same level as the rest of my game sounds and perfect for watching.
It was maybe a little bit elevated, but not so elevated that it made you go, oh my god,
Take off your
headphones
and clap your hands to your ears and, yeah, wish it would just go away.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's anything else you can fast forward through, though. I mean, you could speed up things like deeds by using accelerator tomes. But you still have to actually
You still
kill
have
things.
to actually do the number of stuff.
Right.
You know, there's
Right.
still a finite number of things that has to be done. Same thing with skipping over content. You could theoretically skip over things, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's completed. It just means you're skipping it, which isn't the same thing as fast forwarding.
Right.
Yeah, as Terry said, it all depends on what you mean by fast forwarding. Because if you want to level up to 115 as fast as possible, well,
Aria!
Aria is of course one answer.
Get yourself an Aria of the Valor to level 105, and then you find somebody to let you chail after them in Mordor. Because I don't actually recommend taking an Aria character into Mordor. That's a recipe for getting
Not
yourself
immediately.
squished.
That's a rough one.
Yeah, there is that. But then, of course, there are other things like various forms of experience acceleration, so that you actually go through the content, but at a faster pace and leveling. But of course, you are skipping a lot of places as you do it because you're probably gaining levels so fast.
Yes.
Not as fast as Ariaing, of course, but hopefully you've at least learned your class by the time you got to 115. You might not be ready for Mordor, though, when you get there, because sometimes when you go through it too fast, you don't have any gear that's decent.
That is also true.
Or, of course, missing all those deeds and those virtues and stuff like that, which aren't there. Let's then head into our week in LOTRO. And we will begin with Terry Adwin.
So Sunday I followed the girls. Normally I say I led the Girls of Middle-earth. This week I followed the Girls of Middle-earth because we did Spring Festival to get the fish slap emote for the baby burglars. And I mentioned last week that this is not my favorite festival. So yeah, I followed Sans through the maze like 3 times so I could get through the maze.
And then we followed Maven to find
Maven to find the missing elves, and yeah, I did a lot of following. And came up 1 leaf short, so I actually had to finish out my questing today so I could finally get the fish slap emote, because if you're gonna be a burglar, and make sure you have the fish slap emote and the rude emote and the mock emote all on your bars so that when somebody annoys you in the game, you know, generally by being OP, because everybody in the game is OP compared to burglars, you can click on them and then use the rude emote or the mock emote or the fish slap to express your displeasure about the fact that you're the most underpowered class in the game. And let's see. I splurged on Mithril. Splurged with Mithril, that should be. Because this is why I have to stock up on Mithril again. I spent 100 Mithril coins so that my highest level hunter, who is level 101, my elf hunter, I got her a third trait line. So
Blue?
yes. So she's running blue line for the first time ever.
Love blue line.
What do you think of
Everybody
it?
loves blue line. I don't know. I'm still getting used to it. But I did a different thing with my skills. Like, I have a certain way that I typically set up my skills. And I'm trying something different on this character because when I did my high elf hunter, I decided to run her in blue line and was kind of sorting the skills differently there to get used to them. And so I just did the same thing with Elistriel.
It's nice.
It's working so far. We'll see. She's still in Central Gondor where stuff is, level 100 and she's level 101, so she's a little overpowered anyway by being overleveled. But that's a good way to learn new skill rotation at level 101. Which is really not the time to be learning new skill rotation.
Yeah.
And I'm still feeling underpowered in the Thursday group, speaking of being underpowered. However, Piley's probably going to talk more about the Thursday group. But we ran into another champion who was out questing. And he made me feel way better about my champion. Because he was also level 115, but he's yellow line. And I really do think that the way I have my skills set up on Terry as a red line champion is way more efficient than anything I've ever seen anybody do for yellow. And I don't know if it's necessarily my skill rotation. It could just be because I'm so used to having them keybound and I'm using the key bindings, and I know a lot of people like to click skills, which is really not efficient at all if you're going to play a champion. If you're going to play a champion, mash the keys. So, yeah, I felt much better about myself after that encounter on Thursday. Which probably has a lot to say about champion DPS not being... Anyway, so that was me. Black, how was your week?
Okay, my week wasn't bad. My Black Stardust Hunter is now a 115. That was not super great getting it there. That last level, I swear, was the hardest one of everyone there. I didn't have a lot of time after work during the week. I usually don't because I don't get home until like a couple hours for bed. But I try to run something quick, and I try to do a Scourges of Gorgroth Pug that was being announced because usually those run pretty good. And so we started doing it, and as soon as we start, the first thing the leader says is, "Does anyone know where they're all located?" So that kind of so no one knew where they were located. So we kind of like were riding around trying to find them, and then people were getting separated. And I think I got 4 or 5 done, and then I just gave up. So that was that. But then once I got to 115, I actually started the new zone. But unfortunately, I mithrilled in, and I went to Erebor. I didn't go there first. I think I went to Lake Town first, which was from South 3. And then I went from there and rode up to Erebor, and then I actually I seen quests and just started grabbing quests because I was kind of excited to be there. Wasn't paying attention that I was actually kind of doing it in reverse order and didn't start back with the elves. So I kind of committed to it, kept going with it because I wanted to get the hunter travel skill. And so I'm kind of just working on the rep with that. So sticking with it for now. Then with my burglar, it was a 104 pinched. I started working on volume 4. And that was kind of rough just because I believe pinched is now saddle sore from riding up and down the many, many steps and ramps of Minas Tirith. So there's that. I also refined my fishing look on Black Stardust and for the weaponized Trout outfit, which we discussed last week. And I kind of had the regular fishing backpack on, and then I Saw the fisherman's backpack from the skirmish camp, so I went with that one, and it looks pretty good now. Sans Linda, how was your week?
My week was pretty good. My roomkeeper killed a roving threat on the bridge of Osgiliath by herself. And this is my really, really squishy roomkeeper, and I kind of expected it to be a death port, but it was a gray mob, and it had a glowy green head, and it might be a little bit trigger happy. So with a bunch of kiting and putting down a healing stone every time the troll stopped to induct, I managed to kill the roving threat on the bridge of Osgiliath without dying. So
Nice.
that was pretty cool.
Very nice.
Yeah. I was really excited. And then realized I got like 600 silver off of the troll and 1 gift giver's brand. I was like, well, I'm not sure that was really worth however many minutes of combat that was, but because took a long time. I was kind of afraid the troll was going to reset. But yeah, that was cool. And on the field trip, my minstrel Sanswinda, most of my Sanswindas are not minstrels, but my minstrel Sanswinda on Arkenstone now has a war steed. And I'm pretty excited about that. She can now travel recklessly all over Middle-earth.
Recklessly.
And, well, yeah. I'm sure there's gotta be, like, some sort of ticket system in Mickle Delving, or there will be at some point for war steeding through there. But, maybe the ticketing is just that you get caught on all the fences and light posts. I don't know. But, yeah, she's pretty excited. And my burglar managed to do the drunken fence walk on Sunday. And I will probably never be able to repeat that. I'll probably try a few times. But that was pretty fun. And it was the first time I'd attempted it with my graphics turned up further than very low. And I think that actually helped, despite the screen being blurrier. So I might have to try that again and see if that's true, or if it was just kind of a fluke that she made it through. But yeah, that was my week. How was your week, Pine?
Yes, I was with you on Friday for that little thing with in getting the war steed, and after that, I promptly went to the Shire to catch up on my cooking. So there were 1 or 2 occasions when I needed to farm over, and because I needed to get a recipe also, and I don't think that anyone sells the recipes in Mickle Delving. So I took up my war steed and rushed over to Hobbiton to handle that little bit to get the recipe that I needed for. I think it was the coffee bean recipe, so I could get that. And so therefore now I am up to spec with cooking. So at least now for the level that I am in, a couple more levels, I'll be needing to go up again on that. Now on my Crick Hollow Warden, I managed to finish up my questing in Dale. So I finished up what I was doing in Dale and headed over into Erebor. And I also completed the Northern Kingdom section of the Black Books. So that's all done. So I think the biggest thing I now have to get done is Erebor. Then maybe I could unlock the episodic content, which I'm hoping to find out what are they doing with the episodic content now, because the last one that, of course, I've done was, of course, was the Bingo Boffin thing. I'm sorry, okay, what will they do with it now? Then on our Thursday group, we were doing the Northern Kingdom stuff up in Mirkwood, or the Woodland of the Green Leaves, or whatever they call it now. And we went into some old elven rooms there, and it looks like that the current residents there are a little bit on the life challenge side.
Just a little bit.
A little bit there. But we managed to get through it, and that's where we ran into the champion that Terry spoke about. Or I presume that's the champion you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yep. And we managed to survive that pretty well. And I think Sans and Terry were happy that we did not have to solo that.
Yes, we were.
Very.
Yes.
Very.
I had to solo that on Crick Hollow, and yet I knew how painful it is to solo that place. Then on my Evernight Warden, rushed through the epic in Dunland. This is a character who's focusing on Bingo Boffin, and I was a little bit over leveled going into Dunland, so I decided, all right, I'll just do the epic. So whenever they say, do as many quests for the people here and then continue to the next place, I just jump to the next place. Okay, I'm done. So long.
You guys don't really need me, right?
Right, of course not. And they rewarded me by giving a nice, comfortable cell in Isengard.
Yeah. So ungrateful.
So ungrateful. That is right. And we currently have 18 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast your choice, or even be a guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, LOTRO Players @LOTROPlayers, Arendus @Arendus, Black @Black Shrubbery, Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles, Sandwinda @Sandwinda, Terry Adwin @Terry Adwin. The Players Alliance has 4 shows every Monday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time. We have BDO Players News. Every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time, we have a LOTRO Players News. Every other Thursday at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time, we have XP Quest. And on the first Tuesday of each month at 9:30 p.m. U.S. Central Time, we have Chromatic Bits. You can join us for our live shows at LOTROPlayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.